Hi, good day, and welcome to the online class for General Mathematics. In the previous lessons or previous video, we talked about functions and how they are applied in real-life situations. In this video, we will be talking about how to evaluate functions. Evaluating function means replacing the variable in the function with the value from the function's domain and computing for the result. Ang notation natin, f of a, means ini-evaluate natin yung function f at a certain value a for some a in the domain of f. So, importante na si a dapat ay nasa domain ni f. Okay? If a is not within the domain of f, then hindi natin mai-evaluate yung function. So, let's try to solve examples. For example 1, evaluate daw natin yung given functions from a to e. Okay, at x equals 1.5. So, evaluating means simply substituting the given value, which is 1.5, to the variable x. Okay, it is not always x, but as a convention, maybe laging x ang ginagamit. Okay, so papalitan lang natin. Evaluating means papalitan natin yung value ng x dun sa given x na binibigay. So for letter A, for function f of x, f of 1.5 would be equal to, palitan mo lang ng 1.5 sa x. So magiging 2 times 1.5 plus 1, and this is equal to 3 plus 1, or that is equal to 4. Therefore, f of 1.5 equals 4, or the value of f of x evaluated at x equals 1.5 is 4. Yun na po yung sagot. I'm sorry. Ito na po yung sagot. Okay, how about letter B? Again, same principle. You just have to replace the value of, or the variable x with the given value. So we got 1.5, sorry. I erase this. Got 1.5 squared minus 2 times 1.5 plus 2. This is equal to 1.5 squared is 2.25 minus 2 times 1.5 is 3, and then plus 2, and that is equal to 2.25 plus 2, 4.25 minus 3, 1.25. So that is the value of q when x equals 1.5, or the value of function q of x when evaluated at 1.5. How about g of x? So g of 1.5 is equal to the square root of 1.5 plus 1, which is equal to the square root of 2.5. So unfortunately, 2.5 is not a what we call a perfect square, so hindi mo na yan masisimplify pa. Or kung gusto mong gawing fraction, okay lang din naman. Pero I'm okay with this na. For the function r of x, r of 1.5, sorry. Okay. I'll erase that. R of 1.5 equals, palitan mo lang lahat ng value ng x. So 2 times 1.5 plus 1 all over 1.5 minus 1. That is equal to 2 times 1.5 is 3 plus 1 all over 1.5 minus 1 is 0.5. That is 4 all over 0.5. 4 all over 0.5 is equal to 8. And that is now our final answer. How about for letter E? So our function is capital F of x equals greatest integer function, or the floor of x plus 1. So nasabi ko na kung anong ibig sabihin ng floor of x. Ibig sabihin nito, it is the greatest integer that is less than the given input or number. So f of 1.5 would be equal to the floor of 1.5 plus 1. Or what is the floor of 1.5? It is the biggest integer that is less than 1.5, and that is 1. And 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. And that is now the value of f of x, function f of x, evaluated at 1.5. See? Sobrang dali lang niya. Okay? So, let's try other examples. Example number 2, find g of negative 4 and r of 1, where g and r are as defined in the previous example. So, ito lang din yung mga example kanina, and we are going to find g of negative 4 and r of 1. So, g of negative 4, so kay g ka lang magsasubstitute. Ibig sabihin, ang g of negative 4 is equal to the square root of negative 4 plus 1, which is equal to square root of negative 3. Oops! Negative 3, square root of negative 3, or any square root of a negative number, the square root of any negative number is imaginary. Ibig sabihin, negative 4 is not a domain or do not belong in the domain of G. That is why we cannot evaluate this. Although may nakuwang sagot, which is 3i, this is an imaginary number, and ibig sabihin lang yan, hindi real yung sagot. Okay? Kasi ang definition ng domain, a domain is any value of x na magbibigay ng real value for y. In this case, so, mako-consider natin siyang domain kapag yung lumabas na sagot sa pag-evaluate natin is real. And obviously, the square root of a negative number is not a real number. Okay? Instead, it is a imaginary number or a complex number. So, negative 4, ibig sabihin, negative 4 do not belong to the domain. Thus, we cannot evaluate the function g at x equals negative 4. Okay? So, ang sasagot natin, cannot be evaluated. Or, pwede nating sabihin din na negative 4 do not belong to the domain of g or function g. Okay, ganun lang kasimple. Or you can simply show that, okay, evaluating will lead to an imaginary number. Pwede rin naman. Like so. Okay. How about the second example, where r is evaluated at 1? So if we substitute 1, we have 2 times 1 plus 1 all over 1 minus 1. And this is 2 plus 1 all over 0. Obviously, hindi tayo pwedeng mag-divide ng 0. This is undefined. Because, if you graph this function, meron siyang asymptote at x equals 1. Ibig sabihin nun, it will never reach the value of x equals 1. Therefore, 1 is also not in the domain or do not belong in the domain of function r. So, we cannot also evaluate the function r of x at x equals 1. It does not give us an imaginary number or a complex number. However, it gives us an undefined result. Undefined because we are dividing by 0. Okay. Ibig sabihin, for example number 2, both functions cannot be evaluated in the given points. Let's try other examples. We have example number 3. Evaluate the following functions where f and q are as defined in example 1. Okay, ito yung function na binigay sa atin, f of x equals 2x plus 1, and qx equals x squared minus 2x plus 1. And the given points, or the given value of a, where the functions f and q are to be evaluated are as follows. Okay, hindi laging ini-evaluate yung tawag natin, yung function natin at a constant. Pwede rin naman ganito. So, ini-evaluate siya at meron din siyang variable. So, ibig sabihin, kung ano man yung nasa loob pa rin, yung value pa rin natin ng A is yung nasa loob ng F. Kasi yun yung notation natin. So, kung ano man yung nasa loob nakikita nyo, for example, for letter A, si 3x minus 1, yung buong ilalagay nyo, ipapalit nyo dun sa value ng x. Although, meron pa rin siyang x. No? Pwede naman po yun. Huwag nyo isipin na, baka si 3 lang na typo lang si sir. Si 3 lang yung substitute ko or si negative 1. Hindi po. Kung ano po yung buong nakikita natin dun sa loob, yun po yung buong isa-substitute natin para ma-evaluate yung function. Therefore, evaluating the function f of x at 3x minus 1 will give us, okay, 2, palitan natin yung x dun sa original function kung ano man yung nasa loob. So, papalitan mo ng 3x minus 1 yung nasa loob. And then, huwag kakalimutan si plus 1. Simplify natin, we get, distribute natin yung 2, we have 6x. And then, distribute natin yung 2, we have negative 2 plus 1. And finally, 6x, negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1. Ito na po yung final answer natin. The value of function f evaluated at 3x minus 1. Okay. Evaluating doesn't always mean na constant yung makukuha natin or number yung makukuha natin. Pwede pa rin pong merong variable. The same is true with the second function. So, ang papalitan naman natin, still, ang ipapalit natin is 2x plus 3. So, sa x pa rin ang papalitan. So, the function q evaluated at 2x plus 3 is equal to lahat ng x dun sa original function, papalitan mo ng 2x plus 3. So, we got 2x plus 3 squared minus 2 times 2x plus 3 and plus 2. So, ilagay ko lang dito sa baba para magkasya. Then, q of 2x plus 3 is equal to, expand natin yung square ng binomial. We have 4x squared plus 12x plus 9 minus, distribute natin yung negative 2, so negative 4x minus 6 plus 2. And lastly, combine like terms. Wala na may kasama si 4x squared. So 12x and for negative 4x, magbibigay ng positive 8x. Si 9, si minus 6, at si plus 2, that is positive 5. So ito na po yung final answer natin. 4x squared plus 8x plus 5. Ganun na siya kadali. Evaluating means substituting the given value of x for all the variables of x. So, I hope may natutunan kayo. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me sa Messenger. And contact nyo ako or mag-comment kayo sa post sa Google Classroom. So, meron tayong activity after watching this video. So, don't forget to perform the activity. Thank you and happy learning.